Hi there, I'm Anthony, and this is When Anthony Draws. Today we're going to discuss a book that I just read. This is called Muse Mondays, so, I'm going to be talking about different people who I admire artistically, but also things that are just part of who I am. Because I think, what I find fascinating with the artists I like is how they think, who they are, why did they get to where they are, or what kind of thinking do they have in the process of being the artist that they are. So, as an artist of life, as an artist who shows up in every moment, even when I'm not making art, in the best way that I can, I do a lot of self-development work. I do a lot of self-growth, meditation, contemplation, all kinds of things. And so I'm going to share some of that with you today. Today, talking about this book, which I just went through. It's called The Abundance Book, and it's by John Randolph Price. There's a little picture of him on the back, and he looks like quite a character, and I actually really like the last line in the description of his bio, which is his writings published to reveal the unlimited potential we all have to achieve mastery over the world of illusion. And I like that because there's another character named Bashar who says that there's the illusion of power or there's the power of illusion. And the illusion of power is kind of the opposite of what this book talks about, which is that oftentimes when people might want more money or anything, maybe there's a sense of I need to make it happen, I need to control it, I need some power over it. Whereas the power of illusion is that your reality is a reflection of your beliefs and your state of being and your capacity to meet what you desire without restricting it and limiting the potential that could be there. So at the end of his line here it says, unlock or to reveal the unlimited potential and achieve mastery over the world of illusion. And achieve mastery it's not control, it's mastery, which is more like focus, more like intention, more like alignment. And the basic fundamental principle of this book is pay attention to your innermost being or your God essence or the truth that you are an incarnated physical being, and you're not just physical, but that you exist, and you are as existence. You are a manifestation of Source, of God, of truth, of love, of infinite intelligence, what the universe is. And the more you attend to that, the more you attend to the natural abundance that is expressed in all things. So you're not actually focusing on the effect of that truth, which would be financial abundance, or would be this or that or the other. Anything that's a material object that's out here, instead of focusing on that and trying to dance, and really there's a beautiful analogy also by Bashar, which is reality is the mirror. You don't try to reach into the mirror and change the facial expression on your reflection. Instead, you smile or you change your actual self. You change, and the thing changes. And so this book is about attend to what is truth, which is innately your existence. And the more you are really just aligning and giving attention, it's really about attention. Instead of letting the mind drift to trying to figure something out, you forget about the outer world, whatever it looks like. Oh, I don't have any money in my bank account. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, this. Instead, just I am one with Source. This book has various writings. It's very short. It's very cheap. I mean, like it was $10 on Amazon, and it's an amazing book. At the end, there is a list of affirmations, things like, "I am the spirit of infinite plenty, individualized." So that's saying I am the spirit of everything, the infinite abundance of everything, individualized, uniquely manifested as me. I am wonderfully rich in consciousness. I am bountifully supplied with money. So there's these affirmations at the end. There's various testimonials in the book. There's a checklist of prosperity. So it's like, am I still concentrating on the effect, which is money, or am I focusing my attention on the cause, which is spirit? Things like that. I have read through the entire book more than once and highlighted various sections that stood out to me, and also some sticky notes here. The main thing that this book offers is a thing called the Prosperity Plan. And it's a 40-day prosperity plan. And it's very simple. There's 10 little excerpts of like a couple sentences in the book. And you read one every day for 10 days, because there's 10 of them. And you do that 4 times without ever missing a day. So I officially today did my 40th one, and so I completed the 40-day prosperity plan. I didn't miss a single day, and that was, I didn't do it by like before midnight, but I was doing it before I went to bed, and so I did it every night before I went to bed. There was a couple times, more than a couple, I actually passed out in this chair, and then woke up later and went to my bed. But I did it, and I brought this journal. I had this journal next to me. It's next to me now. And I used it, and every day what it recommends is, where I think it says required, is after you sit and you read the statement, and I'll read one here. I'm going to go to the 10th one, if I can find it. Because this is the one I read today, number 10. I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on God within as the only cause of my prosperity. I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs, as the substance of all things visible. I place my faith in the principle of abundance in action within me. So that's number 10. And I had this little sticky note, and I wrote 40 numbers on it, and I would just circle it every single day that I did it for the 40 days, and I'm going to circle number 10 on the 4th list there. Did it. So I've already done this, so I'm not doing it now, because what I would read it, and I would read it over and over, sentence by sentence. I would just reread like one sentence of that paragraph. I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on God within as the only cause of my prosperity. And I would let it sink in, and I would feel it as much as I can. And often I would get new layers of consciousness happening. I would go deeper with what it's saying, and or the words would mean new things as I'm reading them. So earlier today when I did this, for my last one, I was rereading this last sentence, which is, or the second last sentence here, both of them actually. I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs, as the substance of all things visible. So I kept reading that line over and over again, and I thought, okay, the only activity. So as I read it, there was this emphasis that the word only started to take on new meaning. And it reminded me of when I went to Vipassana meditation taught by S.N. Goenka. And in the discourses, you watch video discourses during the 12 days that you're there meditating. And at one point he says, overeating or eating more than 3/4 of where he's talking about meditating on a full stomach and that it's much more difficult. So he says something like, overeating is out of the question. And when I was there at one of my courses, I thought, out of the question. And it took on new meaning. It's like, you can't even question it. Don't even, there's no doubt. It's like, do not doubt that statement, or do not question it. Or the action, not so much the statement, but the doing it. Don't do it. Don't even think of not doing it. And so this kind of thing had that same kind of relevance or shift happen in reading at this time, which is the fourth time I've read it, because I went through these 10 days 4 times for the 40-day prosperity plan. So that's kind of how it would work, and I would sit, and these new insights would come, and these new depths of the word and the wording, and some of it is old wording, and some of it also uses terms like God, which means many things for many different people. I took a note during my journaling, so I would read these and then I would journal during it, or kind of after, and sit with it for about 15 minutes at least, and see what came and what thoughts I had, and just let it sit deeply. But I would usually read this quite a lot as I'm journaling or thinking, kind of back and forth. So, and then the next sentence, or after the comma there, I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs, as the substance of all things visible. And the word substance started to penetrate, and it's like, okay, the substance of money is spirit, and it's not because that's the only thing, that acknowledging the inner presence, that's the only activity, and that's the substance. And then I place my faith in the principle of abundance. So I'm placing my faith in that, and the understanding of all of this, and the other things it explains in the book, in action within me. And then the words in action started to also take on new shape, like, is it of action, or like, what could they be written as in a different way to get across the same meaning? And so it's an interesting prosperity plan. And the main goal of it is to give your attention to spirit or source or God, self, or inner presence, or divine power. It uses all these words in these 10 writings. It also says to give with love and joy and a sense of fun, on a daily basis. So sharing your supply, sharing your wealth, as opposed to hoarding it or holding on to it. It says, giving is an esoteric science that never fails to produce results if it is done with love and joy. And there's a lot of great things I really enjoyed in here. When you first start the 40-day prosperity plan, there is one other task to do aside from reading the 10 words and sharing your supply and journaling, which is to write out this this paragraph or this one single page that speaks of just kind of a initiation. I'm beginning the process of doing the 40-day prosperity plan, and I commit to it, and such things like that. I very much enjoyed this book and the process, and received a lot of value, or created a lot of value for myself in generating and feeling into the innate abundance. And I took a lot of notes during that process, and I used a sketchbook so I could also do some drawings for whatever came up for me. And started at day 1, and I haven't actually read through this yet. It's something I'm going to do soon, and maybe should have done before the video, but you'll do it fresh with me now. These pages, I'm not going to show the camera, but I will read from them, and there's 40 of them, so there's a lot here. And I'm going to read through them, and I'm going to highlight things, and I'm going to take action on some of these things because I did suggest things to myself, or as I was journaling, came up with ideas and things that to follow up on after the plan is done. One of them here, so this is the very first day, and I read the first affirmations, or not affirmations, but I read most of the book probably at this point, and then I started the 40-day prosperity plan, reading the first segment. That's the word. And so, I feel a potent level of belief that I am the abundance. I am it. To perceive all things as joyful expressions of Source initiates a trusting of life. This multiplies the life energy, giving energy, fertile energy, beautiful energy. It is natural and easy. Law is law. So these are kind of my thoughts based on just reading the first paragraph, and I hope that this is interesting to you, even if it's not about creating images. This is the kind of person I am, in a way, and so that channels into my art. It's unavoidable, and especially as I move into more and more attunement, my art is a reflection. Just like the money is the reflection, the inner presence, the alignment with oneself naturally brings about change and a reflection, a mirror expression in the art form. Naturally. Law is law. So, let's see here. I'm going to skip that page. I could see. Today I've been of worry, wanting, lacking. Now I see again that to worry about outer reality is simply my focus on a thing, and the fact of that thing is a fact of its existing as abundance. It's what is. So to clarify what that means is, if I'm focusing on lack of money, lack of resources or something, that's an abundance of lack, because it exists, and only abundance exists. Abundance is what is. That's the fact. Everything's an expression of what is. And if I'm looking at lack, well, then there's an abundance of lack there. So it's about, where is my focus? And so this whole book is focus back to the inner self and let everything else follow. My consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. So I enjoyed this process, and I might continue reading them occasionally. Maybe not every day now. There was actually, when I finished the journaling of my last segment there, the book like fell on the ground, and it just felt kind of fresh, like a reset. And so I feel I am done with it for now. But I did enjoy it. I feel like it's a gem of a book, and I got a lot out of it. And I think it's important to continue doing everything that's in the book. It's essential. Which, there's only one thing, really, is don't focus on the effect and come back to focusing on the cause, and that will bring about all the abundance, because you'll be with the abundance instead of looking at the reflection. And I don't have much more to say about this book, but I do have some more notes here that I'll flip through and see what there might be. We're talking about the Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And one thing that the Prosperity Plan gave me as an idea is to take other books I have and read a segment, read a little piece, and really sit with it and really digest it. Like take like Robert Henri's The Art Spirit, and just read a paragraph and then sit and be with it and journal about it and really soak it in. You know, there's so many things, so many videos, so many things to read, to listen to watch. I have so many things bookmarked, so many books I haven't read. Just to slow down and also use that simple 15 minutes a day. That's all this prosperity plan asked for. 15 minutes a day, and contemplate, sit with it, breathe, observe, and let that be a ritual in a way. To digest the books I have, to go through them, but do it in the most nourishing way. So take something like The Starting Point by Hayao Miyazaki, where he has a bunch of interviews and essays and things, and just go through it very slow, you know. A consistent, simple task, and you or I or whoever does it gets through it. It happens. It just takes one little step at a time. Here's a note. It's past midnight, and I thought, did I mess up the 40-day spree? Yet as I see it, the rhythm is not cut, as I did not sleep or fall out of organization or consciousness of the 40-day process. So that made me think of the overall statement that is made about doing things consistently and on a daily basis, or like you got to draw every day, you got to do this every day, you got to be consistent with it, right? And there is something to that for sure, but it's not necessary. It's a reflection. It's a tool. The idea of do it every day is to generate a container of energy that is prosperous, that is reflective of a state of mind that says, I'm doing this, I've got this, I'm on it, things are good, flowing, all that. So it's more about the awareness and the focus and the intention, and that building that container is very helpful for most people probably, but I would say it's not necessary, because it's not about the outer, it's not about the actual how much is taking place. It's about, why does that mean anything? And in experiencing this, I had a moment of, it's past today, does that mean I've missed a day? But then I checked in and it was like, no, I am still attuned to the whole process. That momentum hasn't broken. There's a awareness of what is building still here, and I haven't sabotaged it. And it's just an intuitive knowing that, no, I'm not doing it wrong, or like I haven't broken anything. The continuum of that energetic container is still being built and gained and accessed. There were other times where I did feel that it's like I had a desire to do it, to sit down and read the quote and contemplate it. And I kind of held off or whatever, and those were the moments where it felt like the container was breaking and getting less strong and less useful. Though I still didn't miss a day before sleeping. Every night before going to bed I did do the practice, but it's just that mind story, or the way in which I was doing the practice, that I noticed at times felt less cohesive or connected to to the whole establishment of the energetic container of the plan, the prosperity plan. So hopefully all that makes sense. Here's just some notes of like things I think were my supply, or I was giving energy out there to, like, going to this trip will make me happy, or having this will make me happy, or this relationship is my supply. So I was writing things like, this person is not my supply, this thing is not my supply, my focus is unlimited. I was kind of impressed with myself through the process, realizing at moments like, hey, I've done 16 days, or I'm moving on. So here's another moment. This was a big shift. So now we're just talking about my thoughts about the prosperity, or that I had through the prosperity plan, rather than the plan itself. This was a moment where I wasn't feeling positive about the outer financial world that I was witnessing, or imagining for myself, and yet I had a strong desire occur for more of it. But it wasn't a mental desire. It wasn't a desire of, that would be nice, or just like up here in my awareness, like up in my head kind of thing. It was a full body visceral expression of feeling how good it would feel to have more income, because of being able to do this and that with it easily. So it was the resource, the imagined resource of money helping me to prosper in a way I strongly desired. And it was a visceral, full body desire for that thing. And I was in the state of not feeling like it was going to happen. But even then, there was such fullness in the launch of that desire into the universe that even despite in that moment not feeling that it was there, I was able to enjoy that I was having this full body experience of depth in desiring that while feeling lack about it. So it's this contradiction, yet at the same time they kind of relate, or I've kind of lost my words about how I was going to describe that, but it was special, very special. This is just on day 18. I read a bunch more of the book. Incredible. So I got a lot out of this book. I think that's about all I'll share. So if you like the book, go pick it up, and or if you look at what I've said, go give it a try yourself. And this has been a little view into my world, my thoughts, and a little process called the 40-Day Prosperity Plan that I just finished. So we'll see you on the next video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe and do all those things so you don't miss, hit the bell, and you'll get notified every time I make a video. So thanks, and talk to you soon.